Ladies, I find myself, um, and I just wanted to ask you guys about this. When you go through something and you end up with that experience from it. So, recently, my surgeries I've been through and things like that. I often have to catch myself sometimes because if I hear somebody talking, I want to jump in, like to get into that helpful mode and be like, oh, I've been through this. I know exactly what you need. And I find myself pulling back from that because I want to make sure they've been seen and heard and want my advice. But I guess my question to you is, how can I do that and still make them feel seen and heard? Like, I think sometimes we forget the value we can bring from our experiences without overpowering somebody, like being a know-it-all.
Hmm.
What are your guys' feelings on that?
I guess it's the way you present it, right? Because if we take your surgery as a for instance, I could not bring the same value to a conversation that potentially could help someone because I don't have all the nuances of going through it. I can bring something, but not the
Hmm.
same, not the same. So I guess it's more of the way you present it, but those experiences are the value, right?
Yeah.
And should we bring them unless somebody asks? Like, I guess that's my question too. Like, I always, I've taught myself to say, I can bring some information to this. Would you like to hear it? But then I find sometimes they're like, nope, that's like they can be, I guess it's a fine line of maybe they just need to vent or do they need advice? What do you
I,
think?
I yeah, I mean that is hard in terms of what it is that they're saying. I think Tracy's right. It depends on how it's being presented. Like, are they looking for something, or I mean, you can generally tell the difference between someone just wanting to, I just want to talk.
Right.
I don't try and fix this. Don't try and, I just need to talk, as opposed to the person who's like, I'm having trouble with this. I need, you know, what's your take on it? So I think there's that, but I also truly do believe that it's the experiences that you go through um, that shape who you are and your interpretation of those events that can either help somebody or not help somebody. It really is. It's like, I mean, you've had a double mastectomy. Only, I mean, out of the three of us, it's like I can't speak to anything like that,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So if
Right.
somebody was talking about that, is your question, should you bring up the fact that you've had that done if somebody is talking about they're thinking about getting it done, or they've
Well, I
had
think
it, or
it's a little bit of both. I think we should how to bring it up, but also we shouldn't forget that we can bring value to
uh-huh.
conversations
That our experience brings
that are
value.
experienced.
Yeah.
I think it's how we also approach it. Because I'll give a perfect example. When I had uterine cancer and had to have a hysterectomy, and I just wanted to talk, people would chime in and say, oh, my sister had that. It's no big deal. Or I would get, well, when I had cancer, and it was like they were over talking to me. So it was like, we've done this episode on it. Like someone's
Right,
always trying to
right.
get that one up above you
Yeah,
on
one
it.
upmanship. Yeah.
Right. So how do you negate having this conversation while still making that person? And I think what I have done in the past is I've actually not said anything until later on. I've pulled the person aside and said, if you ever want to talk, I have been through this. Here's my contact information, you know, because sometimes they just want to be.
I think anybody who's having a conversation just wants to be seen and heard within that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, I think that is what everybody, I don't think they go into a conversation with that in mind, but I think that, that's the ultimate gift, I think, is to
Right,
allow someone to feel heard and
right.
seen in that. And I don't think that if you have a shared experience, a real shared experience, that it takes anything away from them in saying that you do have a shared experience because it's up to them at that point to decide whether or not they want that to be shared or whether or not they still want to just continue with talking about their personal experience of whatever it is that you're talking about, right?
Right. And I think we also have to remember, even if they take the littlest thing from you, you still brought a value. So it doesn't have, that experience doesn't have to be apples to apples. It still could be, um, you still can be helpful and bring those values and that experience to people. We should never um, underestimate the value we can bring,
Hmm.
but we also have to be open to understand not every not every two experiences are the same.
But isn't it also just the fact that whatever the experience is, unless it's simply a conversation of can we compare notes? Like this is what
Mm-hmm,
I've gone through. What was it like for you? But is it not? But I mean, all our experiences shape us
mm-hmm.
and they create who we are and our personalities and all of that. Like those experiences are constantly helping us evolve as people. Um, that to me in and of itself is the value of your experience. Like in a previous episode, we were talking about accomplishments, and Tracy, you mentioned the thing about you're getting over your fear of skiing. I mean, that experience
Hmm.
shaped you in ways that have allowed you to do other things and to, view things differently.
So for Michelle, what you were saying of when do you like how much is oversharing or like that's a perfect example is if someone was talking, regardless of what they were talking about, a fear, I would bring that up and go, this is what I did. And I was so, I was so scared of this, but I did this because I feel I would want them to know it's a possibility for them.
Right,
If we're in
right.
a conversation and people are talking, which women at our age, we always talk about medical stuff now. But if we were and someone was concerned about their health in that way, I don't want girl over here, woman over here telling me what she's heard as opposed to woman over here, Michelle, what she's been through, right? And
Right,
that,
right.
it can be scary if you want more one-on-one, that's one thing, but I think you still should bring it out there.
We should still share. Okay. Yep.
That's my take on it.
See, that's a whole story. You're telling yourself stories. Me, I'm talking to myself.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I think we think sometimes um mine's different than that. I can't bring value to that, value to the conversation. And sometimes we forget the experiences we've been through that we do bring value,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and, there's probably that, like we've all just talked about, the balance of being the one up person, and your
Mhm.
intent is not coming in that way.
No,
So
no, right. Hmm. What do you think, viewer? Let us know in the comments. Also, share this with somebody that you think would be beneficial from this. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe, and make sure you hit notifications so you know when our next episode will come out. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.